traveled back to 1977, and right at the start they gave me 3 daughters? I'm a guy who's been single for 24 years, and I'm becoming a stepdad the moment I arrive? Most outrageous of all, the brigade leader directly wrote my name down as the head of household. I stared at the household register. Wife, Wang Chunmei, daughters, eldest, second, and third sister, and my mind just went blank. The widow blushed and stole glances at me, while the 3 girls looked eagerly at the fish in my hand. No, I just wanted to scrape by and get something to eat. So how did I end up with a whole family attached to me? August 1st, 1977, Xiaoping Brigade, Daping Commune, Qianan County, Southwest Province. When they hauled me out of the river, I was soaked through and my head was buzzing. Help! There's a hooligan. The screams of several young women on the riverbank were still echoing in my ears, when several young men charged over and rained punches and kicks down on me. That old bachelor Yang Guangwei shouted, "Stop hitting him, don't beat him to death," and then slapped me across the face several times, forcefully slapping me awake. I opened my eyes, my head still spinning, and saw a huge crowd standing in front of me. The men were wearing clothes patched over patches. The women were in rags too, and children ran around bare-bottomed, each one sallow and skinny. I was completely dumbfounded. I fucking transmigrated? My name is Yang Guangshu, 24 this year. I had originally been in a remote mountain village in Dongjiang Town, Wuxiang City, Jiangnan Province, where I leased several small hills and a reservoir and opened a little eatery for people to fish and eat free-range chicken. I made 3,000 to 4,000 a month, and with only myself to feed, life was as carefree as could be. Then I went for a swim in the reservoir, closed my eyes and opened them again, and ended up in this godforsaken place. Before I could recover from the shock, a translucent panel suddenly popped up before my eyes. Interdimensional shuttle system, awakening and binding successful. Host, Yang Guangshu hunting level, 0 fishing level, 0 functions. Interdimensional travel, storage space-time flow ratio between the 2 worlds, 1:1. Current world, August 1st, 1977, Xiaoping Brigade, Daping Commune, Qianan County, Southwest Province. The system even thoughtfully added a line for me. Host identity generation complete. Sent down educated youth within the jurisdiction of Qianan County seat. File has been recorded. Before I had time to be happy, several people escorted me toward the brigade threshing ground. A bonfire was burning there, some people chopping firewood, others boiling water. I stood in the middle with my hands tied, wearing nothing but a pair of red briefs, not even shoes on my feet. The more pathetic I looked, the better. Brigade leader Yang Tongyu strode over aggressively with a group of people, followed by a bespectacled male educated youth who looked about 25 or 26, refined and gentle in appearance, but harsher than anyone in what he said. Brigade leader, don't bother asking. Just call the public security and have this hooligan shot with 1 bullet. My legs nearly gave out from fright. What kind of era is this? Molesting women gets you executed by firing squad? Just because I'm wearing red underwear, I'm going to catch a bullet? That bespectacled educated youth was called Jiang Minghai, and he looked at me with sinister eyes. I had no grudge against him, yet he wanted me dead the moment he saw me. How could his heart be so vicious? The brigade leader didn't listen to him, though, and stared at me as he asked, "Young man, where are you from? How did you end up in our mountain village acting like a hooligan?" I quickly explained that I was a sent-down educated youth, and while catching fish in the river I had fainted from hunger and fallen in, then been carried all the way here by the current. I really hadn't been peeping at young women bathing. The brigade leader then asked where my clothes and pants were, and why I was wearing nothing but a pair of underpants. There was no way I could tell the truth. How was I supposed to explain something like wearing red underwear in my zodiac year to people from the 1970s? I could only vaguely say that my clothes were probably washed away by the water. After hearing that, the villagers didn't seem too suspicious. These days, everyone is hungry and cold, so sneaking out to find something to eat is a common thing. Besides, if someone were secretly peeking at young women bathing, he wouldn't be stupid enough to charge alone into a whole group of girls. The brigade leader looked at my big 1.8-meter frame and got an idea. This brigade was too poor. They could never have too many strong laborers. But the problem was, there was no spare room to put me up. He swept his gaze around the people present, and in the end his eyes fell on a young woman at the edge of the crowd. There were also 3 little girls by her side, the oldest 6 or 7 years old, and the youngest still toddling unsteadily. The brigade leader's eyes lit up, and he said directly, "Chunmei, your man has been gone for 2 years now, and there's no head of the household at home. Let's arrange for this young Guangshu to stay at your place." At that moment, my head buzzed. What the hell? I had just transmigrated here, and now I was supposed to become a stepdad to 3 little girls? Wang Chunmei blushed, lowered her head, and said nothing, her hands twisting together and rubbing back and forth. I only found out later that her partner had died 2 years ago. She had been raising 3 daughters on her own, barely scraping by, and the children had been so hungry their whole bodies swelled up and they nearly died. Her in-laws disliked her for giving birth to money-losing goods and hadn't helped her with even a single grain of rice. There were quite a few old bachelors in the brigade, but the moment they saw her with 3 tagalongs, they all stayed far away. No one dared get involved. Seeing that she didn't speak, the brigade leader took it as tacit consent. The villagers had originally wanted to watch a good show, a public denunciation meeting to put a hooligan on trial, but it turned out to be a misunderstanding in the end, and they dispersed grumbling and cursing. Someone even shouted, "What a letdown, what a letdown. Go home and sleep, we still have to go to work tomorrow." The corner of my mouth twitched. What do you people mean by that? Do you have to see me beaten up as a hooligan and shot before you'd be happy? Seeing me naked, the brigade leader had someone cut 2 banana leaves for me to cover myself below the waist. So there I was, hanging 2 leaves on myself and going barefoot, following behind Wang Chunmei and her 3 girls like a wild man. It was dark and the road was hard to walk, and before long I let out an oof. My big toe having struck a rock, the pain so sharp that tears almost came to my eyes. Wang Chunmei timidly turned back and asked what was wrong. Gritting my teeth, I said it was nothing. I had just stubbed my toe. She shone the torch on it, and my big toe was already bleeding. The 3 little girls turned back to look at me curiously, their eyes full of confusion. We aren't wearing shoes either, so why didn't we stub our toes? Wang Chunmei's home was a mud-walled, thatched hut, so low that I could touch the eaves just by reaching out. After we went inside and lit the kerosene lamp, the dim yellow light made the room look even more shabby. Aside from a pile of odds and ends and 2 beds, there was nothing else in this home. If you don't mind, sleep on the bed that big sister's father used to sleep on. The 4 of us will squeeze onto the other one. When Wang Chunmei said this, her voice was as low as a mosquito's buzz. I didn't mind, but once I lay on the bed, I felt uncomfortable all over. The bamboo mat was so hard it dug into my bones. And from the thatch in the roof, who knew whether it was rats or snakes crawling around with rustling sounds? The key thing was this bamboo mat. Could it be the very one Wang Chunmei's dead husband had lain on until he died? The moment I thought of that, I felt disgusted beyond words. In my heart, I called out a few times, "Space, space," but there was no response at all. I couldn't transmigrate back to 2024 either, so I could only accept my fate and endure it for now. Early the next morning, I heard the sound of chopping firewood and starting the fire outside. Lying in bed, I was agonizing over what I should wear today. I couldn't exactly go out wearing only a pair of underpants again, could I? Wang Chunmei tossed a set of clothes over through the door curtain. These belonged to Big Sister's father. Put them on. They're all new. We originally saved them for wearing during the new year. Who would have thought he wouldn't make it to the new year before he was gone? After saying that, she tossed me a pair of straw sandals. I put on the clothes and pants. The pant legs were a bit short, like cropped pants, but it was still better than hanging banana leaves over myself. Eldest sister brought me some water to wash my face. I dipped my finger in the water and poked around in my mouth. There wasn't even a toothbrush. After washing my face, I looked up and saw several bundles of new straw piled under the eaves. The weaving on the sawls was obviously rushed work at a glance. Wang Chunmei had gotten up before dawn to make straw sandals for me. Breakfast was 5 bowls of corn porridge, so thin you could see your reflection in it. And there was also a roasted potato on the table. Wang Chunmei pushed the potato toward me. "You're a man, you eat more. This is for you." The 3 girls stared longingly at that potato. Second sister and third sister kept swallowing their saliva, but didn't dare make a sound. My nose stung, and I broke the potato in half and gave it to second sister and third sister. I took a sip of the corn porridge. The corn was so coarse it scraped my throat like sand, mixed with rice bran that made my throat ache sharply. While I was eating, a shrill string of curses suddenly came from the doorway. "Wang Chunmei, you shameless slut. My son's only been dead 2 years, and you're already in such a hurry to bring some wild man into the house." A tiny old woman barely over 1.5 meters tall rushed in, spittle flying everywhere as she pointed at Wang Chunmei's nose and cursed nonstop. The 3 children were trembling with fright, and Wang Chunmei's tears plopped into her bowl, but she didn't dare say a word. This old woman was Wang Chunmei's former mother-in-law. Back when her 3 granddaughters were starving and swollen, she wouldn't give them a single grain of rice, but now she came to curse her daughter-in-law for finding a man. I stood up and walked straight over to the old woman. If you say one more word, I'll smash your mouth in. Not only was the old woman unafraid, she plopped down on the ground and wailed at the top of her lungs. Help! Murder! Wang Chunmei and her wild man are going to kill me. I couldn't be bothered to hit her, afraid one slap might actually send this tiny old woman to her death. I grabbed her by the collar and dragged her outside, planning to toss her farther away. At that moment, the two middle-aged men nearby who had been watching the commotion all along finally stepped in and rushed over swinging their fists. Let go of my mother. You outsider dare start a fight in our production team? You've got a death wish. These two were the old woman's sons, Yang Guanghai and Yang Guangrong. I dropped the old woman onto the ground and stood up to face them. To be honest, I'd never been in a fight, but I'm 1.8 meters tall, and after years of labor I've got plenty of strength. I copied Tyson's stance, fists up and swaying from side to side, when someone in the crowd shouted, "What's wrong with Yang Guangshu? Is he having a fit?" I stumbled and nearly fell, and Yang Guanghai kicked me to the ground. I rolled aside to dodge, scrambled up, grabbed Yang Guangrong, and started hammering his face. Yang Guanghai was behind me raining blows on my back and head, but I refused to let go and kept one of them pinned down while beating him hard. The three girls were crying their eyes out in the distance. Mama, Mama, Uncle Guangshu is going to be beaten to death. In the end, it was the production team leader Yang Tongyu, who came over and roared, that finally pulled them apart. The production team leader drove off the old woman and her two sons, then turned to ask for my date of birth because he wanted to arrange a household registration for me. I almost blurted out that I was born in 2000 and was 24 this year, but I forcibly swallowed the words back down. If I let that slip, wouldn't I be seized and dissected for research? After counting on my fingers for a long while, I reported February 1st, 1953, which made me exactly 24 this year, so it matched up. The production team leader wrote it down. Yang Guangshu. Yang as in poplar, Guang as in sunshine, Shu as in big tree. Nice name. It's got a connection with our production team too. There are quite a lot in the Guang generation. Then he turned to Wang Chunmei again and asked, Chunmei, are you really willing to let Yang Guangshu register his household at your home? Wang Chunmei's face, dark and thin from being tanned by the sun, was now as red as if it were on fire. She lowered her head and gave a soft of assent. The brigade captain clapped his hands. All right then, that's how the household registration will be handled. Then I was assigned to follow the brigade people to carry water and irrigate the rice paddies. It wasn't until I got to the fields that I knew what despair meant. One wooden bucket alone weighed over 30 jin, and carrying 2 buckets of water for a whole day made my shoulders burn with pain. The rice paddies stretched as far as the eye could see, and the blazing sun made people dizzy. They were all terraced fields, and the water channels simply couldn't reach them. Everything depended on people carrying water load by load. Schools of fish swam back and forth in the river, occasionally leaping out of the water, making me greedy with longing. This was meat. A bunch of children on the bank were skinny dipping and splashing around, and not a single one of them knew how to catch fish. I saw a fist-sized stone by the roadside, picked it up, and hurled it straight at the school of fish. Everyone looked at me as if I were an idiot. A stone could hit a fish. The next second, a big carp weighing 3 or 4 jin floated up belly up. Everyone's eyes went wide, their mouths hanging open enough to fit an egg. I took off my clothes and jumped into the river, fished the fish out, then turned and saw the eldest girl and her 2 sisters staring eagerly from the crowd. So I handed the fish over. Eldest girl, take it back and have your mother stew it. The 3 girls were so happy their faces turned red. Carrying the big fish, they ran home. I shouted behind them to slow down and not fall, especially third girl, who was unsteady even when walking, and ran all wobbly. I was really afraid she'd fall into the rice paddy. But just a few minutes later, the 3 girls came running back in tears. Uncle, the fish was snatched away by someone else. A surge of anger shot straight to the top of my head. I'm practically starving to death. Who the hell dares snatch my fish? The eldest girl said it was Yang Chongxing, her older male cousin, a boy just over 10 years old. I strode into the village in pursuit and saw several naked little boys up ahead running fast with the fish in hand. I caught up in a few long strides and snatched the fish back from Yang Chongxing's hands. Hand it over. Yang Chongxing threw himself on the ground, kicking and screaming, crying out, "You're even snatching a child's things. I'm going to tell my dad." I ignored him completely and carried the fish home with the 3 girls. The fish was cleaned, but there was no oil and no seasonings. Surely we couldn't just boil it in plain water? I wandered around the village and found a prickly ash tree, picked a handful of Sichuan peppercorns, and pinched off a few leaves of 5-spice herb to get rid of the fishy smell. As I was heading back, my eyes suddenly lit up. Sour soup greens. They looked like tender choy shoots, and one bite could make your teeth ache from the sourness. This was perfect for making sour fish soup. At noon, when Wang Chunmei came back from field work and saw a big basin full of snowy white fish meat, she froze in the doorway, not daring to move. Second girl and third girl competed to shout, "Mom, Mom, Uncle caught it in the river." The brigade captain, who I don't know whether he had followed the smell, happened to walk in just then with his hands behind his back. "Yang Guangshu, your household registration has been processed." He handed me the certificate, and then his eyes stuck to the fish soup and couldn't move away. I pulled him down to sit and eat with us, and Wang Chunmei quickly filled a big bowl for the brigade captain. The fish soup was made in the style of sour fish soup, sour and fresh, without the slightest fishy taste, and the brigade captain kept exclaiming over how satisfying it was. I lowered my head and looked at the household registration certificate in my hand. Written clearly in black and white on it were the details. Head of household, Yang Guangshu. Family member, Wang Chunmei. Children, Yang Damei, Yang Ermei, Yang Sanmei. I was completely stunned and looked up at the brigade leader. How did I become the head of the household? The brigade leader was thoroughly enjoying his fish soup and didn't even look up. Weren't you willing to register your household in this family? If you're not the head of the household, then who is? That flush on Wang Chunmei's face spread all the way from her neck to the tips of her ears. She lowered her head, but her eyes kept secretly glancing at me from time to time. A widow in her early 20s, with 3 little girls who didn't even have shoes to wear, had struggled through 2 years in these times when people could barely scrape by. Now that a man had suddenly been added to the household, and the household register even listed him as the head, she probably felt that life had finally gained a pillar of support. I looked at my own name on the household register, then at the 3 little girls holding bowls and gulping down fish soup, then at Wang Chunmei's eyes stealing glances at me, and I couldn't quite describe what I was feeling. Sweetness, sourness, bitterness, and spiciness were all mixed into that bowl of fish soup. I just wanted a place to stay, just proof of identity. Damn it, wasn't this forcing me to become a dad on the spot? Looking at how pitiful this family of 4 was, forget it. For now, let's leave it at that. First, make life easier for them. At the very least, they shouldn't go hungry. I reckon if they have food and clothes, they'll be satisfied. By then, Wang Chunmei might not necessarily even think much of me. After drinking a bowl of fish soup and eating a few pieces of fish, Yang Tongyu didn't eat anymore. In times like these, nobody has it easy. Guangshu, remember to go to work this afternoon. You ran off to look for fish this morning and never went back to work. That won't do. People are already complaining. Yang Guangshu felt a little awkward. He hadn't expected that slacking off for a bit would get him tattled on. Wang Chunmei looked at Yang Guangshu strangely. This man was tall and strongly built. But who would have thought he'd be cutting corners and shirking on his very first day of work? Could he be all show and no substance? At noon, the whole production team was resting. Work wouldn't resume until the afternoon. Sometimes Yang Guangshu even felt that life now was more leisurely than working in a factory in later generations, where you only got half an hour to eat. Yang Guangshu didn't take a noon break. Carrying a machete, he headed toward the bamboo grove on the hillside. When he had been looking for seasonings that morning, he had seen a patch of mozo bamboo up in the hills. Yang Guangshu chopped down a large mozo bamboo thicker than the mouth of a bowl, left about 7 or 8 meters of it, then hoisted it on his shoulder and walked home. The 3 children looked at this new dad, not knowing what he was doing. Just now, their mother had told the 3 of them that from now on Yang Guangshu was the man of this house. From now on, the 3 of them couldn't call him by name or uncle anymore. They had to call him dad. Yang Guangshu used the knife to chop at the water inlet at the bottom of the bamboo. Sniffling, third sister walked over curiously and asked in a childish voice, "Dad, what are you doing?" Yang Guangshu's hand slipped with the knife, and he almost sliced his own finger. "Who taught you to call me that?" Third sister rolled her big round innocent eyes. "Mom did." Yang Guangshu looked toward the house somewhat speechlessly. Was this really going to make me officially a stepdad? But I, Yang Guangshu, in 2 lifetimes, have never even been in love. The corners of Yang Guangshu's mouth twitched. "Just wait until you go to the riverside and take a look. Then you'll know what dad is making." In the afternoon, when work started, everyone saw a strange scene. Yang Guangshu was carrying a long bamboo pole, with 3 little tails following behind him, calling, "Dad, Dad." In the distance, the Yang Guanghai brothers stared at Yang Guangshu with vicious looks. It wasn't enough that Yang Guangshu had beaten them that morning. He had even bullied the child Yang Chongqing. As for snatching Yang Damei's fish, So what if we snatch your family's fish? Whatever belongs to young Damiai's family belongs to us. Big brother, let's find some time to go ask that educated youth Jiang Minghai for advice on how to deal with this young Guangshu. Guangrong, you're the quick-witted one. This Jiang Minghai has gone to school. I heard he even slapped young Guangshu last night. Then he must have a way to deal with young Guangshu. Xiaoming, did you hear that? Today Damiai and the others actually called young Guangshu dad. That damn hooligan must have slept together with Wang Chunmei, that little widow, last night. Fei Xiaoming said nothing. She also felt that what Yang Chunlan said made a lot of sense. Otherwise, why would Damiai and the others call Yang Guangshu dad today? Brother Guangshu, why are you carrying such a big bamboo pole? Yang Guanghua was very curious, while Yang Chongping beside him shrank back a little. Last night in the water, he even punched Yang Guangshu several times. I heard that this morning, he fought both Yang Guanghai brothers by himself. He didn't fall behind at all and beat Yang Guangrong black and blue. You'll know in a bit. Yang Guangshu gave a mysterious smile. Later, when you're hauling water with all your might like oxen, watch how I, Yang Guangshu, slack off openly right in front of you. Why is everyone just standing there? Hurry up and get to work, or I'll dock your work points later. Uncle Tongsheng, can you come a little later next time? Yang Tongsheng was holding a big ledger and wearing a pair of glasses. He really looked somewhat like a leader. Yang Guangshu, not only did you fight this morning, you also left work early. All your work points for today and tomorrow will be deducted. Yang Guangshu looked coldly at the commune accountant in his 50s. I don't have a grudge against you, do I? Yet you're screwing me over like this? You have to know, in this era, work points were a person's lifeline. Without work points, people really could die. Even when the brigade leader came at noon, he didn't say anything about deducting work points. Who would have thought this accountant would pull something like this? Accountant Yang, if I alone can do the work of 10 people today, can you record 10 days worth of work points for me? When everyone heard Yang Guangshu's words, an uproar broke out. What kind of bullshit is Yang Guangshu bragging about? One person matching 10 people? Judging by how he worked this morning, he was worse than a woman. Yang Tongxing gave a contemptuous smile. Looking at Yang Guangshu, if you, Yang Guangshu, really have that ability and can do the work of 10 people by yourself today, forget 10 days of work points. I'll record a whole month for you. Everyone heard that, right? Accountant Yang said it himself. Yang Guangshu looked around and shouted loudly. Those who disliked the accountant, and those who wanted to see Yang Guangshu make a fool of himself, started shouting loudly. We heard it. We'll all be witnesses. Jiang Minghai, who was repairing the field ridges, let out a disdainful sneer. This Yang Guangshu is just a clown. Why was everyone else carrying water while he was repairing the field ridges? Don't ask. If you ask, it's because he's got connections, people backing him. Guanghua, you guys go help me find a long stone weighing dozens of gene. And find another vine. Why look for a long stone? Because it'll be easier to tie up later. Yang Guangshu tossed the stone into the river, leaving everyone completely baffled. What on earth is Yang Guangshu doing? He had the stone brought over only to throw it into the water. Yang Guangshu stripped off his shirt and pants, wearing only his zodiac year underwear. The young women and little wives watching the excitement all spat and cursed. Shameless. The unmarried girls blushed and turned their heads away, while the young wives secretly watched, whispering among themselves. Wow, Yang Guangshu is really well built. He even has muscles. He's so strong. That little widow Wang Chunmei has really hit the jackpot this time. She'll be eating her fill every day. When several young girls heard that, they moved a little farther away from those female hooligans. But they still secretly sneaked glances at Yang Guangshu. That show-off Yang Guangshu did a flip and dove into the water, drawing bursts of cheers. Guanghua, help me lower the bamboo. Yang Guanghua and several young men quickly lowered the bamboo into the water. After tying the mouth of the bamboo and the big stone together, Yang Guangshu climbed ashore. You guys go fetch a few buckets of water. Yang Tongsheng was furious. It would be one thing if Yang Guangshu was just fooling around. But now nobody was working, and everyone was following along to watch the excitement. Aren't you all going to work anymore? Following Yang Guangshu and acting crazy? The timid ones shrank their necks and left. But Yang Guanghua wasn't afraid of him and still helped carry water. You dare call me crazy? Just wait and see how I'll deal with you, you old thing. Several buckets of water were poured into the bamboo tube, and when it filled up, the water overflowed. No one knew what this was for. Yang Guangshu stood in the field, gripped the stick inside the bamboo tube with both hands, and pulled it upward. The water immediately flowed into the rice paddy. Yang Tongxing watched with a sneer. Why was this lunatic pumping out the water that had just been poured in? Was this supposed to be interesting? Suddenly, Yang Tongxing could no longer laugh. Why was more and more water coming up? Wasn't it only a few buckets of water? Shouldn't it have run out long ago? With a few pulls from Yang Guangshu, it was nearly a bucketful of water each time. In just a few minutes, there was more and more water in the paddy. At this rate, let alone replacing 10 people, it might even equal 50. Yang Tongxing's face turned as dark as the bottom of a pot. He let out a cold snort and slunk away with his tail between his legs. Yang Guangshu watched the accountant's retreating figure. He shouted, "Accountant Yang, remember to credit me with a month's work points." Hearing this, Yang Tongxing slipped and fell into the rice paddy. He climbed up covered in mud and hurried home in a sorry state. A group of young men gathered around Yang Guangshu. "Brother Guangshu, have a smoke." An 18 or 19-year-old young man quickly handed Yang Guangshu a cigarette without a filter. Yang Guangshu had no idea what brand it was. Someone beside him immediately lit it with a match. Yang Guangshu took a deep drag and blew out a smoke ring. After being hungry all day, suddenly taking a puff was truly life-saving medicine for an old smoker. "Brother Guangshu, my name is Lu Jinfu, and I'm good buddies with Guanghua. Brother, can you teach us how to make this water lifting tube?" Everyone looked at Yang Guangshu nervously. "Want to learn? I can teach you." "Haha. Thank you, Brother Guangshu." Everyone excitedly lifted Yang Guangshu up and ran a lap around the rice paddy. The manufacturing process is fairly simple. Just hollow out the middle of the bamboo and cut a big opening at the bottom. It's just that the straw used to block the water leaks a bit, but there's no helping it. This era lacks cloth. Many hands make light work. They made dozens of water lifting tubes, long and short. Everyone had figured it out by now. Some people were pumping water in the river, while others were directly in the rice paddy, continuing to pump it upward. Seeing this scene, Yang Guangshu suddenly thought of an assembly line. Everyone worked for a while, then rested for a while. No one dared say they were slacking off. Ding! Fishing level 0.1. Yang Guangshu was floating in the water, lazily basking in the sun. The sudden voice made him choke on several mouthfuls of water. These past 2 days, he had almost forgotten about that damn system space thing. Looking at the panel. Fishing LV 0.1, hunting LV 0. Why did this fishing become 0.1? What use does this fishing level actually have? Yang Guangshu studied it for quite a while, and in the end guessed that it might have something to do with traveling between the two worlds. He'd find a time to try it out. Brother Guangshu, hurry and come ashore. A big wild boar has run down from the mountain. Yang Guangshu was speechless with these people. In this era, wasn't it perfectly normal for wild boars to come down from the mountain? Yet each and every one of them was making a huge fuss. The women weeding in the rice paddy screamed and desperately climbed toward the field ridges. The young men working the pumps had lost all their manliness too. They fought with the young and married women over the already narrow path. One woman, shoved by who knows who, fell into the river. Yang Guangshu didn't know her either and had no idea who she was. But he couldn't just stand by and watch her die, could he? With one flip and one dive, Yang Guangshu reached the riverbank, lifting the woman ashore. As soon as the woman got up, she turned to look at Yang Guangshu. Her eyes were full of terror as she stared behind him. "Watch out, there's a wild boar behind you." Before Yang Guangshu had time to turn around, a huge force slammed into his back. It knocked Yang Guangshu straight to the bottom of the water. Through the blur, he vaguely saw a dark shape swim over his head. Ignoring the pain in his body, Yang Guangshu struck quickly. He grabbed the wild boar's hind leg and dragged it into the water with all his might. Once its hind leg was caught, the wild boar tried to turn around and bite Yang Guangshu. But in the water, the wild boar wasn't as agile as Yang Guangshu. Still, Yang Guangshu couldn't do much to it either. The boar was too big and too strong. If this weren't in the water, fighting a wild boar at close quarters like this, Yang Guangshu would have been dead long ago. Besides, Yang Guangshu wasn't a fish. If he kept holding his breath underwater, sooner or later he'd suffocate. The moment he surfaced, he gulped down 2 big breaths of fresh air. The wild boar immediately turned to bite Yang Guangshu again. When the boar turned, its rear swung around with it. Yang Guangshu grabbed its hind legs with both hands again. A comical scene unfolded in the water. One man and one boar spun in circles in the water. Whether the wild boar was dizzy or not, Yang Guangshu didn't know, but he himself was seeing stars and feeling completely disoriented. Damn, this can't go on. His stamina definitely wasn't as good as the wild boar's. Yang Guangshu fought down the dizzy, nauseated feeling and sank underwater again, using every last ounce of strength to pull desperately, hoping to drag the boar's head underwater. From the moment it fell into the water, the wild boar had been fleeing in panic and had already used up a lot of strength. It had also been tangling with Yang Guangshu for quite a while just now. Now, with that sudden hard yank, its mouth hanging wide open, it gulped down several mouthfuls of river water. Desperately trying to climb upward, it kicked all four limbs wildly. Yang Guangshu even got kicked in the chest. Luckily, they were in the water, which reduced the impact countless times over. Bubbles gurgled out of the wild boar's mouth. If he could hold on for another half-minute, the wild boar would definitely die. But Yang Guangshu figured he would probably go with it. Unable to hold his breath any longer, Yang Guangshu surfaced again to breathe. Seeing that the wild boar had surfaced too, Yang Guangshu hardened his resolve, flipped over, and mounted the boar's back. With fists as big as casserole pots, he hammered blow after blow at the wild boar's eyes. The wild boar was already utterly exhausted. Now it could only let Yang Guangshu pound it. Everyone had originally run quite far away. But when they heard Yang Guangshu fighting the wild boar in the water, and that he had even dragged the boar into the water and nearly drowned it, everyone was both scared and curious. Just taking a look from far away should be fine, right? By the time everyone got closer, they saw a shocking scene. Yang Guangshu was riding on the wild boar's back, punching it again and again. In ancient times, there was Wusong beating a tiger. Today, there was Yang Guangshu beating a wild boar. Only when Yang Guangshu saw that the wild boar had stopped moving did he finally stop, panting heavily. Yang Guangshu looked at the dumbfounded people on the bank. What are you all standing there for? Pull it up. Only then did Yang Guanghua and the others come to their senses. A whole bunch of them jumped into the river, brushed Yang Guangshu off the wild boar's back, and shoved him into the water. Everyone heaved together, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, pushing and dragging the wild boar ashore. Yang Guangshu choked on several mouthfuls of water in the river. Damn it, what I meant was, pull me up first. The young women and wives on the shore were laughing uncontrollably at Yang Guangshu's words. The tense atmosphere was eased as Yang Guangshu and the wild boar came ashore together. Everyone stopped working and carried the huge wild boar as they ran toward the production team. Walking at the very back, Jiang Minghai cursed under his breath. How come this Yang Guangshu didn't get bitten to death by the wild boar? This guy. Last night, I heard he was in the river with his head under Fei Xiaoming's thigh. Today, he saved Fei Xiaoming again. This Yang Guangshu really deserves to die? When the team leader heard the news, he hurried back from the hillside. Yang Tongyu muttered curses. This Yang Guangshu is really asking for death, actually daring to take on a huge wild boar one-on-one. The team square. Everyone in the entire production team had gathered here to look at the wild boar. It had been months since they had eaten a meal with meat. So just looking at the huge wild boar helped satisfy their craving a little. When Wang Chunmei heard that Yang Guangshu had nearly been gored to death by the wild boar, she hurried over to his side with her 3 children. She wanted to say something, but the words would not come out. She could only hold her 3 children close. Wang Chunmei silently looked at Yang Guangshu as large tears rolled down her face. Her slightly trembling shoulders revealed the fear in her heart. Tears poured non-stop from her swollen red eyes like beads from a broken string. Seeing her mother crying, third sister started crying loudly too. Her wailing cries spread across half the square. From time to time, she also cried out, "Daddy, Daddy." Yang Guangshu picked up third sister and wiped her runny nose. Don't cry, don't cry. Daddy's fine." In the distance, Fei Xiaoming watched Yang Guangshu holding the child. The light that had just appeared in her eyes dimmed instantly. Jiang Minghai walked over to Fei Xiaoming's side. "Xiaoming, you weren't hurt today, were you? When I saw you fall into the water, I rushed over right away to save you. But who knew Yang Guangshu would beat me to it and push you up first?" Fei Xiaoming looked at him with a complicated expression. This educated youth who used to live in the same courtyard as her. Now in the entire production team, only the 2 of them were left. Back then, there had been 7 or 8 people in the educated youth courtyard. A lot of people couldn't endure this hardship. Those with connections, those who injured themselves on purpose, gradually all left Xiaoping production team. "I'm fine." Jiang Minghai still wanted to say something when a young wife in her 20s came over holding a child about half a year old. "Minghai, I heard that today it was thanks to Yang Guangshu. Otherwise Xiaoming would have been hurt, right?" Jiang Minghai looked at his wife, somewhat speechless. "What do you mean by that? I only just came over, and you followed right behind me." Jiang Minghai gave an of acknowledgement. He adjusted his glasses and walked toward where Yang Tongxing's family had gathered. The corners of Yang Juxiang's mouth curved upward. "Minghai, wait for me." Holding the child, she jogged after him. Yang Chunlan asked softly, "Xiaoming, Jiang Minghai already has a child. Could he still be pursuing you?" At this moment, the team leader's voice rang out. "Today." Yang Guangshu killed a huge wild boar by himself. According to the collective rules of the production team, half of this wild boar belongs to him, and the rest will be divided among each household. No objections, everyone. No one said a word. How could there be no objections? This wild boar must weigh over 300 jin. Yang Guangshu alone gets half of it. Can he even finish that much? Also, while I'm here today, I want to criticize Yang Guanghua, Yang Chongping, Lu Jinfu. When Yang Guangshu was attacked by the wild boar, every one of you ran even faster than women. Are you all men with no balls? A bunch of grown young men lowered their heads in embarrassment. So timid and afraid of death. How shameful. Will this affect your chances of finding a wife in the future? Yang Guangshu walked over to the team leader. Everyone looked at Yang Guangshu curiously, not knowing what he was going to do. Let me say a few words. It's so hot in this weather, and our family can't finish half of this wild boar. Anyone who wants wild boar meat can bring something to exchange with me. If you really don't have anything, even a few dozen bundles of firewood will do. As for giving it to them for free, in their dreams, this was exchanged with my life. After saying a few more words to the team leader, leaving a few dozen jin of meat for his own family would be about enough. The pig's head, stomach, and heart had to be kept for his own family. Yang Guangshu had just finished explaining and was about to return to Wang Chunmei and the others. Then he saw Big Sister's grandparents leading a whole family toward Wang Chunmei. Yang Guangshu was just thinking of going over to see what tricks this family was up to again. They had come to curse people in the morning. Their two sons had even fought with him, and then the child snatched fish in the morning. Before he had even taken a few steps, a large crowd surrounded him. Yang Guangshu, I have several hundred jin of firewood. How about exchanging it with you for a few jin of meat? Yang Laosi, get lost. Do you take Yang Guangshu for a fool? You want to trade a few bundles of firewood for a few jin of meat? The buzzing voices gave Yang Guangshu a headache. Damn, if I'd known earlier, I wouldn't have traded at all and would have just taken it to the commune to secretly sell. Yang Guangshu roared, everyone, stop arguing. Food gets priority in exchanges. Next are daily use items, and only then the worthless firewood. At this moment, Yang Guanghua squeezed in. Ha ha ha, Brother Guangshu, do you still remember me? Yang Guangshu looked somewhat baffled at this middle-aged man in his 30s. Crazy guy, who are you? I just transmigrated here. Who would remember you? Seeing that Yang Guangshu had no reaction, Yang Guanghua got a little anxious. Brother Guangshu, last night, I was the one who woke you up. Yang Guanghua had not even finished speaking. A voice came from the side. Right, it was you last night, the one who slapped Yang Guangshu awake with a few smacks. Yang Chongping, you little bastard, and you dare talk about me? It was you people yesterday who beat my brother unconscious. Their mutual exposing of each other's shortcomings made the nearby people burst into laughter. Yang Guangshu was also amused by these two goofballs. Brother, I caught 5 or 6 jin of eels. How much pork do you think I can exchange them for with you? Yang Guangshu was a little curious. How had this guy thought of catching eels? In this era, having this kind of idea was no ordinary thing. How did you catch so many? Didn't I see eel holes all over the field ridges? They were always leaking water, so I could only dig them out. I see. I thought I had really met someone ahead of his time. Yang Guangshu estimated that in this era, eels and fish cost about the same, around 0.2 yuan per jin, while pork was 0.7 yuan and also required a meat coupon. Forget it. I'll take a bit of a loss. We're all clan brothers after all. For your 6 jin of eels, I'll give you 2 jin of pork. Thanks, brother. I'll go get them for you right away. After Yang Guanghua finished speaking, he disappeared in a flash. If we'd known eels could be exchanged for wild boar meat, we would have gone to catch some too. Many villagers regretted it so much that they slapped their thighs. Yang Guangshu, I have 2 soft-shelled turtles here. Can I exchange them with you for wild boar meat? A somewhat trembling old man squeezed in. Yang Guangshu looked up and saw a stooped back, probably a little old man in his late 70s. Yang Guangshu was dumbfounded for several seconds before reacting. In many places in the southwest, soft-shelled turtles are called tuanyu. In some places they are also called wangba. Grandpa, how many do you have? Xiaohua, hurry and bring them over for Uncle Yang Guangshu to see. A little girl about 10 years old, barefoot, wearing a pair of shorts, with her upper body completely bare. She walked over laboriously carrying a wooden bucket. Seeing the grandfather and granddaughter like this, Yang Guangshu felt a pang in his heart and even wanted to give them pork for free. But in the production team, everyone was very poor, and with so many people watching, it would be hard to handle if he gave it away directly. The 2 soft-shelled turtles probably weighed about 10 jin. Grandpa said these 2 soft-shelled turtles had been sunning themselves on rocks by the river and were caught by his granddaughter. Yang Guangshu looked at the little girl a few more times. This kid was really brave. Aren't you afraid of being bitten? The little girl lowered her head and said nothing, and it was hard to tell whether she was shy or feeling a bit inferior because she was half naked. Grandpa, I'll give you 3 gene of pork in exchange. He finally managed to deal with everyone. People even brought broken pots and chipped bowls to trade. Looking into the distance, Yang Guangshu saw Wang Chunmei talking together with old Madame Yang's family. He felt somewhat upset inside. It seemed that no matter how much they argued, they were still one family. As for himself, this outsider getting beaten was probably only to be expected. Yang Guangshu had not even walked over yet. All 3 children ran over and grabbed Yang Guangshu. Dad, why did your grandma and the others come over? The 3 children all lowered their heads and didn't say a word. Could it be that he had done something wrong? He sincerely wanted to give the mother and daughters a better life. And now they wouldn't even answer a question? It seemed it was time for him to move out of this home. Yang Guangshu really wanted to slap himself a few times. Even Dorgan couldn't accomplish this. Who the hell did he think he was? Forcing a smile, he walked up to Wang Chunmei. As for the old lady's family of more than 10 people, he couldn't even be bothered to spare them another glance. Seeing that Yang Guangshu said nothing, the old lady pinched her old man on the waist with her hand. Yang Tongxiang coughed twice. Yang Guangshu, as the grandparents, uncles, and aunts of the 3 children, we talked it over with Wang Chunmei and want you to give our family 50 gene of wild boar meat. After all, we're all one family. Yang Guangshu looked at Wang Chunmei with sorrow in his heart. If she agreed to, then he would treat those 50 gene of wild boar meat as the price of drawing a clear line between them. From now on, you go your broad road, and I'll go my single plank bridge. Wang Chunmei, what do you say? Yang Guangshu, now you are the head of the household, and everything is up to you. Just now my parents-in-law and my elder brother and sister-in-law talked to me about this. I said I couldn't make the decision. Now you are the master of this home. The 3 children all nervously tugged at Yang Guangshu's clothes. Someone had come to snatch Dad's wild boar meat. They were insignificant and dared to be angry but not speak out. They only hoped Dad would not agree to such an unreasonable demand. Yang Guangshu let out a sigh of relief. He had thought the whole big family was ganging up to swindle him. Forget 50 gene, even 1 liang, I won't give you. What a joke. Just by flapping your lips, you want to take away 50 gene of wild boar meat. Am I too stupid, or are you too naive? When the old lady heard that Yang Guangshu refused, she instantly flew into a rage. Wang Chunmei, you shameless little slut, after sleeping with this wild man for just 1 night, you're already siding with outsiders and don't even know to look after your own family. Wang Chunmei had not expected that this mother-in-law, failing to get her way, would immediately start cursing again. She trembled with anger all over. Good thing she had softened for a moment just now and almost agreed to their unreasonable demand. Yang Guangshu wanted to throw the old lady out, but her 2 sons and daughters-in-law stopped him. The 2 Yang Guanghai brothers surrounded Yang Guangshu. Yang Guangshu, if you dare make a move. There are plenty of our clansmen here at this threshing ground, and they'll beat you half to death. You shameless family, get the hell away from me right now. Yang Guanghai thought he had scared Yang Guangshu. He arrogantly pointed a finger at Yang Guangshu's nose. In this Xiaoping production brigade, if you're a tiger, lie down for me. If you're a dragon, curl up for me too. Ouch. Before he could finish, Yang Guangshu grabbed his finger and twisted it, and the pain made him bend over at once. Yang Guangshu kicked him in the stomach, sending Yang Guanghai rolling several meters away. Seeing her husband being beaten, Wang Lianmei shouted as she clawed at Yang Guangshu like a shrew. Murder! Yang Guangshu is killing someone. Yang Guangshu looked at the shrew rushing at him. He dodged, and Wang Lianmei fell flat on her face. The brigade leader in the distance, who was directing everyone to deal with the wild boar, was startled when he heard the shouting. Thinking someone had really been killed, he took a closer look and saw that it was old Madame Yang's family again. All of you, stop it. What are you fighting about now? Old Madame Yang looked at her 2 sons and saw that even with the 2 of them fighting one Yang Guangshu, they still couldn't gain the upper hand. Anxiously, she shouted into the distance. Yang Guanghui, Brother Yang, your cousin is getting beaten up. Why aren't you hurrying over to help? The 2 brothers in the distance turned their heads away and pretended not to hear. Everyone knew what kind of people this family was. If it had been someone else, they might have gone over to help. But the one they were supposed to beat was Yang Guangshu. They had just traded for pork with him, and were still going to collect the meat later. If they beat him up, what would their whole family eat? No one had seen any meat or oil for months. The 2 sides were pulled apart, and the brigade leader was furious. 2 fights in 1 day. This was clearly showing no respect for him as brigade leader. Yang Tongxiang, Your family won't be getting any wild boar meat today. Go home. By what right? The brigade's things aren't your personal property, Yang Tongyu. When old Madame Yang heard this, she also threw a tantrum and rolled on the ground. Yang Tongyu is bullying people, withholding the common people's food. If you don't give our family any, our whole family will go to the commune and report you. Yang Tongyu was furious. Fine, fine. Go report me then. Today each family gets 2 jin of pork. Your family take yours and get lost. Since you fought today, 1 day's work points will be deducted. If you're not convinced, don't just go to the commune. Go report me at the county. If I, Yang Tongyu, am afraid of you, then I'm your grandson. Seeing Yang Tongyu being so tough for the sake of an outsider, not even giving face to their slight family connection, they didn't dare keep making a scene. They were truly afraid the brigade leader would target their family in the future. As for going to report him, that was just to scare people. They trembled when speaking even to commune members, let alone going to the county to find leaders. Old Madame Yang told her grandson to go collect the 2 jin of wild boar meat, and the family still didn't leave. They shamelessly stayed, chatting and laughing with everyone. After the wild boar meat had been distributed, not a single person in the whole brigade left. It was almost dinner time, yet no one went home to cook. Yang Guangshu looked at his half-carcass of pork, and now only 50 or 60 jin remained. Everyone who was going to trade for pork had already done so. People really didn't have anything else left that they could offer in exchange. Looking at the sallow, emaciated children one by one, Yang Guangshu's heart softened. Brigade leader, I'd like to discuss something with you. Today Yang Guangshu was the great hero, so the brigade leader was quite accommodating. He said gently, what is it? Brigade leader, there are still 50 or 60 jin of wild boar meat left here. Just leave me 40 jin. As for the remaining 10 plus jin of pork, please have someone help cook it all together with the remaining offal, so everyone can have a bowl of soup together tonight. The brigade leader was very pleased to hear this. This young comrade is highly conscientious. Yang Tongyu immediately announced, no one needs to go home to cook today. Yang Guangshu is treating everyone to pork and pork offal soup. The entire brigade burst into cheers. The way they looked at Yang Guangshu softened by several degrees. Slice after slice of streaky pork rolled in the boiling soup, and waves of meaty aroma drifted through the air. The children stared at the big iron pot, swallowing their saliva. With more than 10 jin of wild boar meat and offal, everyone could still get a few pieces. Holding their bowls, people squatted or simply sat on the ground and wolfed it down. Old Madame Yang's family didn't leave either. The whole family was feasting heartily. In their words, this all belonged to the collective, so their family had a share too. Who cared whether it was contributed by Yang Guangshu or not? Although the wild boar meat had a bit of a gamey smell, in those days when people couldn't even get enough to eat, what did a gamey smell matter? Besides, they had put lots of Sichuan peppercorns and 5 spice herbs into the pot. Even if they hadn't, it wouldn't matter. This was meat. Didn't you see how many children, after finishing the meat, were still licking their bowls with their tongues? After licking their bowls clean, they ran off to get another bowl of soup. This time there was no meat, but the children still drank it with great enjoyment. Captain, I'd like to discuss something with you. Tomorrow I'd like to ask for a day off to go to the county town to visit a few old friends. Why did you suddenly think of going tomorrow? The brigade captain didn't suspect anything. Among those sent down to the countryside, who didn't have a few friends, a lot of the educated youths came from the same place. Yang Guangshu pointed at the wild boar head, stomach, and heart. Didn't we get some meat? I want to bring some for them to try. The brigade captain immediately felt that Yang Guangshu was a good comrade. He left over 10 jin of pork for the brigade members to eat, and for his own friends he was only taking a pig's head. Yang Guangshu carried his bowl over to Wang Chunmei. He picked a few slices of streaky pork from his bowl and gave them to third sister. Third sister, eat a bit more. Dad, you should eat too. Third sister was a little confused as to why everyone else only had a few pieces of pork, while Dad's bowl was heaped full. As the hero of the occasion, of course he got a full bowl. No one had any objections, and even if they did, they didn't dare say anything for fear of provoking public anger. Yang Guangshu put a few more slices into the bowls of the mother and daughters, then only slowly began to eat. Wang Chunmei, tomorrow I'm going to the county town to deliver some things to my friends. Wang Chunmei didn't dare ask whether Yang Guangshu was going to see male friends or female friends. Although she and him were on the same household register, they weren't husband and wife, so she didn't dare meddle in such things. Back home, looking at the pile of stuff in the room, grain, potatoes, and, most surprisingly, quite a few bowls and plates. Although there wasn't much grain or potatoes, it was enough to last a few more days. Outside the house, there was over 1,000 jin of firewood. There really were people shameless enough to trade this stuff for meat. Yang Tongxing's family. Dad, tomorrow I want to make a trip to the commune. Yang Tongxing looked at this educated youth's son-in-law, not knowing what he wanted to do at the commune. Is there something you need there? Yang Juxiang held the child and glanced nervously at her husband. Could he be going to the commune to see some female friend? He had always been pursuing Fei Xiaoming before, and only after marrying her had he restrained himself a little. Dad, didn't Yang Guangshu make a water-lifting bucket today? Tomorrow I want to go find the commune secretary. Tell him about this method, and have it promoted throughout the whole commune, or even the whole county. You want to claim the credit for this? Yang Tongxing stared fixedly at this son-in-law. This guy was quick-witted, but this matter was very risky, because everyone in the entire brigade knew that it was invented by Yang Guangshu. Then I'll go with you tomorrow, and testify for you that this water-lifting bucket was invented by you. Jiang Minghai nodded repeatedly in delight. Thanks, Dad. Yang Juxiang was a little worried that her husband might get beaten up by Yang Guangshu when the time came. No need to thank me. We're family. No need to stand on ceremony. This Yang Guangshu cursed at you last night, and today he opposed me again, and even made me record a month's work points for him. We'll just treat this water-lifting bucket as it was the apology gift he gave to the two of us. The next day, at the crack of dawn, Yang Guangshu got up and started packing. Hearing the noise, Wang Chunmei also got up. Yang Guangshu, you should take some wild boar meat with you. Just taking a pig head is a bit too little meat. Yang Guangshu looked at the large chunk of wild boar meat soaking in water, with no intention of taking it away. He himself was going back to the modern world, so he didn't care about this little bit of meat, but Wang Chunmei didn't know that. The family could barely make ends meet, yet she was still thinking of him. Was this woman foolish? Or kind-hearted? Just bring them some fresh and unusual things. Leave this meat for you and the children to eat. Later, you should braise it right away. The weather is too hot, and it will stink very soon. Seeing that Yang Guangshu wasn't taking any wild boar meat, Wang Chunmei went to rummage under the bed again. She took out a small shabby cloth bundle from the straw mat. Yang Guangshu, here is 7 mao. Keep it on you, and when the time comes, buy yourself something to eat in the county. Did you forget that last night we traded meat for more than 1 yuan? I have money. You keep it yourself. Wang Chunmei directly stuffed the money into Yang Guangshu's hand, then ran out to light the fire and braise the wild boar meat. Yang Guangshu carried eels, a soft-shell turtle, a wild boar head. He also brought 2 floral bowls and a plate, planning to take them out and let people see whether they were antiques. If they were just things from the 1960s or 1970s, then forget it. But if they were from before the Qing dynasty, then wouldn't he make a fortune in the future? How great would it be to travel back and forth and be a reseller? Watching Yang Guangshu walk farther away carrying bags big and small, Wang Chunmei's tears were like pearls, falling in big, helpless drops. The family had finally gotten a man, someone to rely on. Once Yang Guangshu left, she didn't know whether he would ever come back. How many city people could endure the hardships of the countryside? After walking more than 100 meters, Yang Guangshu looked around, saw no one nearby, and walked into the cornfield beside the road. Better safe than sorry. He couldn't just suddenly disappear on the road. Looking at the space panel, he searched for quite a while before finally seeing the 2 small golden words, Start. How did my hunting level become level 1? Could it be because I hunted a wild boar yesterday? He silently said start in his heart, and Yang Guangshu returned to his 2024 doghouse. Fortunately, when he came back, he wasn't in the water. He was inside his own house. If it were in the water, in this hot weather, it wouldn't matter that much. But if it were winter, wouldn't he freeze to death? Looking at the reservoir, Yang Guangshu felt a headache coming on. He only charged 10 yuan an hour, and there still weren't many people coming to fish. Mainly because this was pretty much the same as wild fishing. A lot of people couldn't even catch 2 jin of fish after a whole day. Some even came up empty-handed and still had to pay over 100 yuan, so they felt it wasn't worth it. Over time, people stopped coming, all thinking Yang Guangshu's place was too much of a ripoff. They might as well spend a bit more money to fish in a pond, where other owners stocked fish every few days. Yang Guangshu had also thought about buying some big fish and throwing them into the reservoir, but after thinking it over, he decided to forget it. The path he was taking was different from others, an original ecological setup, wild fish. At most, he would stock some fish fry. The free-range chickens raised on the mountain were always half-starved, one meal full and the next meal hungry. When he remembered, he would give them some corn to eat. When he didn't, they could only forage for food on the hillside themselves. But fortunately, some rich people just liked Yang Guangshu's place. The environment was good. There were mountains and water, birdsong, and insect chirping. Many people came by every few days to patronize the business. Everyone knew this place wouldn't do things like using bath fish to pass them off as wild fish. Early in the morning, Yang Guangshu didn't go feed the chickens or tin the vegetables either. He made a pack of instant noodles, finished it in just a few bites, then brought out a reclining chair, took his phone, lay on it, read novels, and basked in the sun. Lying flat for a while feels great. Lying flat all the time feels great all the time. Just then, the roar of cars approached from afar. A Range Rover and a Land Cruiser stopped in the open space nearby. When Yang Guangshu saw guests had arrived, he still didn't get up to greet them. Two anglers who'd probably blank out anyway. What was the point of greeting them? Better to avoid embarrassing everyone. When these people came to fish before, sometimes Yang Guangshu wouldn't even know when they had left. The payment QR code was hanging outside, and everyone was very conscientious, scanning it and leaving. Sometimes they forgot to pay, but made it up the next time they came. Boss Yang, lying flat again, huh? Yang Guangshu originally didn't want to get up and say hello, but then he heard the voices of women and children too. Only then did he climb up. Brother Wu, are you here at my place for team building? If that's the case, then I'll have to charge a venue fee today. Yang Guangshu joked. If you want to charge us and make money off us today, no chance. Wu Xinghua opened the trunk and took out the barbecue grill, then brought out all the skewers and vegetables. The corner of Yang Guangshu's mouth twitched. So today you really don't want me to earn even a cent. Hello, uncle. Wu Zihao politely greeted Yang Guangshu. Zihao, no homework today? Wu Zihao let out a cold snort and ran off to sort the vegetables with his mother. Yang Guangshu was truly envious of this boss Wu Xinghua. He's 45, his wife is only 28 now, and their child is already 8 years old. When he turned his head and saw the two people getting out of the Land Cruiser, Yang Guangshu felt even more envy, jealousy, and resentment. Fu Zifeng, a handsome guy of 30, being handsome would be one thing, but he's rich too. Coming fishing this time, he had actually changed girlfriends again. At that moment, Yang Guangshu completely lost all desire to keep lying flat. He went to find a hoe and started digging into the ground, thump, thump, thump. Only after tiring himself out until he was drenched in sweat did he feel a little better. The people in the distance thought Yang Guangshu was digging the ground to plant vegetables. The aroma of barbecued meat drifted over from afar, and the instant noodles Yang Guangshu had eaten not long ago felt as if they had already been digested. His stomach started growling again. Barbecuing meat so early in the morning. May you all eat yourselves into big fatzos. Sister-in-law, you've got some skill. This meat smells amazing. Li Shuyao pursed her lips and chuckled. Having come here several times, she knew Yang Guangshu was thick-skinned. Uncle, here you go. Wu Zihao handed a skewer of grilled lamb to Yang Guangshu. This kid is really considerate. It's just that his grades are too poor. In a few days, I should buy him a few sets of test papers and tutor him a bit. If Wu Zihao knew what this bad uncle was thinking, he probably wouldn't give Yang Guangshu even a single skewer. Gnawing on the barbecue skewer, Yang Guangshu came over to Wu Xinghua's side. Brother Wu, are you going back at noon? If not, then your little brother here will cook a good dish for you at noon. What good dish? Did you bag a muntjac up in the mountains? Bro, don't talk nonsense. I'm a law-abiding citizen. How would I dare hunt something like that? I don't want to go peddle the sewing machine. Look how scared you are. I was just saying it. Yang Guangshu leaned close to Wu Xinghua's ear and said in a low voice, Brother Wu, no muntjac, but there is the head of a 300-pound giant wild boar. Really? You're not lying to me? Don't you dare try to fool me with a Duroc boar's head? If I lie to you, then I was born by you. Get the hell out. Are you trying to take advantage of your sister-in-law? Everyone heard Wu Xinghua's curse. They all turned to look at Yang Guangshu in unison. It made old Yang Guangshu blush bright red. Come on, I'll take you to see it. The two of them walked toward the house. Fu Zifeng had originally been fishing in complete ease, with his girlfriend beside him feeding him fruit. Damn it, that's definitely something good. And this Yang Guangshu didn't even call me over. With a roll, Fu Zifeng also ran into the house. Opening the large freezer, a wild boar head weighing 30 to 50 gene lay inside. Holy crap, it really is a big wild boar head. Buddy, where did you get this? Fu Zifeng hurried in and was also quite shocked to see the wild boar head weighing dozens of gene. These days, in Jiangnan province, although it's no longer a protected animal, it's still not something you can hunt and kill whenever you want. Seeing his dad go into the house, Wu Zihao followed him in as well. Wu Zihao looked around, then suddenly saw the big soft-shell turtle in the bucket. Dad, is this a turtle? Wu Xinghua turned around for a look and almost blurted out, holy crap, again, Brother Yang. Is this a wild soft-shell turtle? Yeah, I went out yesterday, and all of these were collected from the countryside. Yang Guangshu said it lightly. As soon as a Sunshine Lacoon cigarette was dangling from his mouth, Fu Zifeng immediately lit it for Yang Guangshu. Yang Guangshu thought to himself that this kid was sensible. No wonder his family was rich. Wu Zihao ran outside and called for his mom. Mom, Mom, Uncle's house has a big soft-shell turtle. Hearing Wu Zihao's words, Li Shuyao and Zhang Qingyan both ran over to see the novelty. Brother Yang, sell me both of these soft-shell turtles. I'll use them to nourish Zihao's body a bit. His grades are a little poor. Yang Guangshu almost dropped his cigarette to the ground. If his grades are poor, shouldn't he be getting tutoring? Why does he need to nourish his body? Brother, name your price. Brother Wu, even farmed soft-shell turtles for soup sell for over 100 a gene. And some wild ones go for around 300 in Jiangnan province, many of them still being invasive species. As for my soft-shell turtles, look at them. These are old breeds from decades ago, and they're purely wild too. If you don't believe me, you can find someone to take a look. As for the price, just give me 500 a gene. If it were someone else, I wouldn't even want to sell them for 800 a gene. How could I not know whether they're genuine or not? These were brought over from 1977. At 200 or 300 a gene, I might as well keep them to nourish my own body. At first, when Fu Zifeng saw they were soft-shell turtles, he wasn't very interested. This stuff is everywhere in the wet market, nothing unusual. But after hearing Yang Guangshu explain that these were old breeds from decades ago and purely wild soft-shell turtles, he decided he had to get one. Brother Wu, give me one. If you don't want it, then I'll take both of them and buy them to nourish my grandparents. The two elders are currently attending a senior citizens university, and their grades are a little poor. Cough, cough, cough. Yang Guangshu had just taken a drag on his cigarette and hadn't even blown out the smoke ring yet. Hearing that, he choked badly. Yang Guangshu, are you okay? Everyone looked at Yang Guangshu strangely. If you don't know how to smoke, then don't smoke. Get lost, kid. Who said I don't want it? If you really want one, then I'll let you have one. They weighed them. One was 4 Jin 7 Liang, and the other was 6 Jin. Brother Yang, sell me the wild boar head too. Don't bother cooking at noon either. Just keep lying flat. Give me the bigger soft-shell turtle. I'll give you 3,000 yuan for it, and 2,000 for this wild boar head. As your big brother, I won't let you take a loss. The old man at home hasn't eaten wild boar meat in many years either. Now that you've put it that way, how could I not give it to you? Zhang Qingyan craned her neck, wanting to see just how big a wild boar head it was to be worth 2,000 yuan. It is pretty big, probably 40 or 50 Jin. What's that? Are those wild boar heart and pig stomach? Zhang Qingyan asked sweetly. Big brother Yang, are those the pig heart and pig stomach? Yang Guangshu nodded casually. Zhang Qingyan was delighted. Big brother Yang, can you sell me that pig stomach? Zifeng's grandmother has stomach problems, and I've heard that eating wild boar stomach can cure stomach illness. When Wu Xinghua heard it was a wild boar stomach, he originally wanted to snatch it for himself. This was good stuff. But when he heard it was being bought for Fu Zifeng's grandmother, he could only give up. But as for the wild boar heart, he wanted to keep that for himself. Brother Yang, this boar heart. Yang Guangshu quickly interrupted. My good brother, are you all not going to eat lunch? This boar stomach, since it's being bought for Zifeng's grandmother, I'll sell it to him. But this boar heart, I want to make a dish with it at noon for you all to try. I tried to give you money, but you wouldn't take it. Then we can't take it with us anyway, so eating before we leave is the same. After saying that, the group went back laughing and joking. Those fishing went back to fishing, and those grilling skewers continued grilling. In less than 2 minutes, Yang Guangshu received 2 payments. Wu Xinghua, 5,000 yuan. Fu Zifeng, 5,000 yuan. This Fu Zifeng really was a spendthrift, actually giving 5,000 yuan too. Yang Guangshu cursed under his breath, but felt delighted inside. This money was so easy to make. He had originally disliked how poor the conditions in 1977 were, but now where was it bad? In 1977, treasures were everywhere. I want to go to 1977 to endure hardship, to toughen myself up. Meanwhile, at Daping Commune, Yang Tongsheng and his son-in-law Jiang Minghai were carrying a large mozo bamboo pole and sat panting at the entrance of the commune. Dad, will Secretary Tang come to the commune today? Could he have gone to the county for a meeting or down to the production team? Then I'll go ask. Yang Tongsheng was quite imposing in the brigade, but when he arrived at Daping Commune, he became somewhat timid. Hello, comrade. May I ask when Secretary Tang will come over today? Sorry, comrade. I'm just an ordinary commune member, so I'm not clear about the leader's schedule. The father-in-law and son-in-law sat at the entrance, tired and hungry. The sun in the sky grew hotter and hotter. Just as the two were about to move somewhere else to sit and wait, a middle-aged man in his 40s, wearing a white shirt and glasses and pushing a 28-inch bicycle, stopped in front of them. Jiang Minghai hurriedly stood up. Perhaps because he had been squatting too long, Jiang Minghai staggered and fell to the ground. The middle-aged man quickly helped him up and brushed the dirt off his clothes. Jiang Minghai looked at the man. He was in his 40s, his face somewhat weathered, with faint wrinkles at the corners of his eyes and on his forehead. His gaze revealed determination and wisdom, as if he could see into people's hearts. Jiang Minghai felt very nervous. Could this man be some kind of leader? If he was claiming Yang Guangshu's credit for himself, would it be noticed? Han Long looked at Jiang Minghai with a gentle and friendly smile. Little comrade, you've been waiting at the entrance. Is there something you need? Everything outside Daping Commune here falls under my jurisdiction, Han Long's. Jiang Minghai did not suspect anything and stammered. Comrade Han, it's like this. I invented a water lifting bucket. With one person working it, it can replace dozens of people carrying water, and it's very convenient for us common folk. For our Daping Commune, for all the brigades, I, Jiang Minghai, came here today to present this tool. Han Long was quite shocked. Could Jiang Minghai be bragging? This had to be seen to find out whether it was real or fake. Maybe this time, I, Han Long. Jiang Minghai, did you bring the item? Comrade Han, that large bamboo pole is it. Although Han Long was suspicious, he did not show it. Just this one big bamboo pole, and it's really that magical? Comrade Han, let me find a pond or a small river and demonstrate it for you. Jiang Minghai copied it exactly, imitating Yang Guangshu. With one pull and one tug, water kept gushing out of the water lifting bucket. Before long, a large area of the ground was flooded. Watching this scene, Han Long clicked his tongue in amazement. He even wanted to praise Jiang Minghai as a damn genius for actually coming up with such a method. With this thing, it really can solve the irrigation difficulties of many rice paddies that are higher than the river. Young comrade, what's your name? Which brigade are you from? Comrade Han, I'm the educated youth Jiang Minghai from Xiaoping Brigade. Jiang Minghai, are you willing to teach us on-site the technique for making this water lifting bucket? Jiang Minghai hesitated a little. This was somewhat different from what he had imagined. Shouldn't it be that he would win the leader's appreciation? Then the driver would take him around by car to each brigade to teach them how to make the water lifting bucket? Now that Han Long had already spoken, Jiang Minghai didn't dare refuse. Jiang Minghai, the sun is blazing here, and it's not good to stand blocking the main gate. Let's go over to the shade of the trees in the distance. Han Long beckoned, and a fashionably dressed young man trotted over. Long. Comrade Han. Han Long glared. Go get some large mozo bamboo cut down. Before long, more than 10 large mozo bamboo poles were laid out under the shade of the trees. Comrade Han. Actually, the method is very simple. Just break through the partitions in the middle, then open a water inlet at the bottom. For the pole rod in the middle, bamboo or a slender sapling will do. For this water blocking part, torn cloth is best. It seals water better than rice straw. Isn't this just too simple? You can learn it with one look. How come none of us thought of it? The 10-some people cutting bamboo all started talking at once. If I had invented this first, wouldn't I be able to hold my head high in front of the brothers from now on? In no time, everyone took their homemade water lifting buckets to the water to test them. This thing really works well. It's convenient. Looking at the water lifting buckets they had made themselves, everyone was extremely excited. Brothers, your main task now is, at the fastest speed, to teach this technique to every brigade. Can you complete the task today? We guarantee we'll complete the task today. A whole crowd of fashionably dressed young people rode off on 28-inch bicycles to the various brigades. Of course, there was no need to go to Xiaoping Brigade. This thing came from their brigade in the first place. Jiang Minghai and Yang Tongsheng watched the 28-inch bicycles ride away, their eyes full of envy. Jiang Minghai, here's 10 yuan. Don't think it's too little. It's just a small token from me, Han Long. If there's anything you can't solve in the future, you can come to me. In this whole Daping Commune area, there isn't anything I, Han Long, can't solve. Although Jiang Minghai felt that Han Long spoke with a somewhat hooligan air, he was completely dazzled by the 10 yuan. Yang Tongsheng was also very happy for this son-in-law of his. Now that he had entered Han Long's notice, it wasn't impossible for him to get ahead in the future. At noon, at the state-run restaurant, the father-in-law and son-in-law were somewhat nervous as they ate inside the state-run restaurant. After Han Long personally brought them in, ordered several dishes, and paid the bill, he went out. The two looked at the stir-fried pork belly on the table and swallowed their saliva. Just this one plate of meat must cost 50 or 60 cents, right? Unfortunately, Han Long didn't order them a bottle of liquor. Dad, if I come work at the commune in the future, will I also have to go down to the brigades every day? Hearing his son-in-law say that, Yang Tongyu nearly choked on the steamed bun in his mouth. It took several gulps of soup before he recovered. This son-in-law really knew how to daydream. Han Long came outside. Han-san, go to Xiaoping Brigade now and ask their brigade leader and the others to confirm once again whether this water-lifting bucket was really invented by Jiang Minghai. Han-san was startled. Brother Long, do you mean this water-lifting bucket might not necessarily have been made by Jiang Minghai? That's not exactly what I mean. Since we want to make money from this, we have to investigate the matter clearly. Otherwise, some hothead might show up later, say he made it, and fight us to the death. Brother Long, are we afraid of anyone around here? As long as he dares to come, the brothers will break his damn legs. If I tell you to go, then go. Have you stopped going out by yourself, or what? What if one day someone waits alone for you in an alley and gives you a few knife wounds? Will the brothers make it in time to save you? Han-san rode his 28-inch bicycle toward Xiaoping Brigade. 2024, Yang Guangshu's doghouse. Brother Wu, sister-in-law, come over and eat. Several people came to the table and looked at a few plates of vegetables and stir-fried wild boar heart with chili peppers. Brother Yang, did you buy these eels at the market? Fu Zifeng pointed at the eels, looking somewhat disdainful. Why didn't you get a few wild fish from the reservoir instead? The water quality there is good, with no pollution. Who knows whether the things you bought were raised on drugs and feed? Yang Guangshu was speechless with this guy. He was treating him to a free meal, and he was still being picky. You'd better not eat later. Yang Guangshu couldn't be bothered with him. Fu Zifeng put some vegetables into his girlfriend's bowl. Qingyan, eat more vegetables. The vegetables and fruits here at Brother Yang's place are all green and pollution-free. Yang Guangshu looked at the young couple and felt disgusted. They were showing off their affection even while eating. Yang Guangshu couldn't be bothered with them. Brother Wu, sister-in-law, try these eels. These are wild eels from paddy fields irrigated by mountain spring water, with no pollution at all. No pesticides were sprayed or chemical fertilizer applied in those paddy fields. When Fu Zifeng heard Yang Guangshu say that, he immediately picked up several pieces of eel for Zhang Qingyan. Qingyan, eat more eel. It's good for beauty and skin, and also nourishes the body. It made Zhang Qingyan feel quite embarrassed. Fu Zifeng was even thicker-skinned than Yang Guangshu. Yang Guangshu. Fu Zifeng, brother, your cooking skills have improved really fast. This stir-fried eel is really delicious. This time, Fu Zifeng truly wasn't just flattering him. The eel really tasted amazing. Wu Xinghua also nodded. Brother Yang, this eel really tastes great, better than any I've had before. Brother, could you help me get a few gene of it? Then I can use it to treat some friends. Brother Wu, I can't guarantee that, but if I get some then I'll call you. Come, brother, let me drink a toast to you. I spoke a bit loudly just now. Let your big brother apologize to you. Yang Guangshu was truly speechless with Fu Zifeng. With skin this thick, no wonder he changed girlfriends so often. With such a thick skin, plus money and good looks. How many girls could escape his clutches? Weren't you acting like you didn't care just now? From what I see, you're eating more than anyone. Little brother, big brother was wrong. The smashed cucumber was almost finished, and the pattern at the bottom of the plate was exposed. Wu Xinghua thought he was seeing things. He took off his glasses and wiped them. Brother, where did this plate come from? This plate. I happened to acquire it from a farmer's home when I was collecting wild boar heads. Wu Xinghua wiped the plate clean with a tissue and looked at it again and again. I've seen a plate like yours in an older brother's shop. This is a good piece. Fu Zifeng glanced at it a few times and had no interest. It was no different from defective items sold off for 1 yuan each in a 2 yuan store. Brother Wu, then help me take a look. I only bought it for a few dozen yuan back then. Is it worth anything now? If not, I'll keep using it to hold cucumbers. Wu Xinghua nearly dropped the plate on the floor. This Yang Guangshu really was quite a character. Day after day, he had an attitude of not caring about anything, joining the lie-flat crowd at such a young age. Brother Yang, if I'm not mistaken, this plate of yours is a mid-sheen blue and white Lingji Rui plate. It's from a folk kiln, and there are still quite a few of them around, so it's not particularly valuable, around 3,000 to 4,000. If you happen to meet someone who likes it, it might fetch a bit more. Yang Guangshu was somewhat disappointed. So it turns out it's not worth much after all. Weren't antiques on TV always said to be worth hundreds of millions? Yang Guangshu immediately wanted to slap himself twice. Damn, have I gotten carried away? I run a restaurant and watch over a fishing spot, and I only make 3,000 or 4,000 yuan a month. Who am I? Get down. Hurry up and get off me. If you don't get down, I'm calling the police. Dad, Do you think this bowl of mine is an antique? Wu Xingwu chuckled. Where would there be so many antiques? To make his son happy, he pretended to take a look. All right, let Dad see whether the bowl my son eats from is an antique. Wu Xingwu had only meant to brush his son off, but he didn't expect this bowl to actually be an antique too. Brother Yang, your luck is just too good, isn't it? Just by going to the countryside to collect odds and ends, you actually managed to find so many treasures. Yang Guangshu was excited inside. This thing should be worth more than just a few thousand yuan, right? Brother Wu, how much is this worth? Vulgar, you're really vulgar. Can antiques be measured with money? Yang Guangshu curled his lip. If not with money, then with a ruler? But there has to be a price, right? A mid-Qing bowl. This kind of thing is really too common, worth 300 to 500 yuan. TCH. Yang Guangshu had thought it might be worth tens of thousands of yuan. But unexpectedly, it was worth even less than the serving plate. Everyone wanted to laugh when they saw Yang Guangshu looking dejected. This guy is so crazy about getting rich. Brother Yang, the bowls and plates on this whole table can't all be antiques, can they? Fu Zifeng asked with deliberate exaggeration. Antique my ass. I only picked up one plate and two bowls. Then what about the other one? The one Brother Wu is holding and eating from. Wu Xingwu paused. The bowl in his hand was an antique too? He had already eaten nearly 2 bowls of rice, and he still hadn't noticed. Wu Xingwu wasn't in a hurry to check how much it was worth. Yang Guangshu couldn't be bothered to ask anymore either. It was probably just something worth a few hundred yuan. If he asked again and it turned out to be from the 1970s, he'd have even less appetite. Wu Xingwu filled the antique bowl with a bowl of cucumber and egg soup. Brother Yang, pick some vegetables for me later. The vegetables here really do taste great. Brother Wu, if you want to eat, go pick them yourselves. I'm too lazy to move. Don't worry, I won't charge you. Pick as many cucumbers, eggplants, and string beans as you like. If you don't eat them soon, they'll get old. Once you've picked them, I'll water them a bit more, and they'll probably flower and bear fruit for a second crop. After finishing the soup, Wu Xingwu wiped the bowl with a tissue. The more he wiped, the wider his eyes grew. Yang, brother Yang, you didn't buy this bowl online, did you? Are you crazy? Why would I spend money to buy it online? Do I have too much money? Brother Yang, I can't be sure about this bowl. If it's real, you're probably going to make a fortune. How much did you pay for this bowl? This one has a bit more pattern on it, so I bought it for 60. The corner of Wu Xingwu's mouth twitched. Where had Yang Guangshu found so many fools? Wu Xingwu felt extremely conflicted. Should he buy this bowl at a low price? Even if it was ultimately authenticated as fake, he could afford the loss. Forget it. This Brother Yang is straightforward, and he handles people and things well, so I shouldn't take advantage of him. Besides, if I did something deceitful like cheating and swindling, how could I keep getting by in this Wushang city in the future? What would his business partners think of him? Money can be earned back slowly, but if his reputation was ruined, his family's business would definitely be affected. Brother Yang, judging from the shape and pattern of your bowl, it looks a lot like a bowl that was auctioned at Sotheby's a few years ago. When Yang Guangshu heard that it had appeared at an auction, that must be worth a lot. Brother Wu, then do you think this bowl of mine could be worth hundreds of thousands? Damn it, Wu Xingwu really didn't want to keep talking to Yang Guangshu. This guy's vision was way too shallow. Can't you make a bolder guess? Even when daydreaming, your guts are this small. No wonder you used to be satisfied just making a few thousand yuan. Wu Xingwu turned on his phone and searched Douyin for the relevant news. He tossed the phone to Yang Guangshu. See for yourself. Yang Guangshu casually took the phone. Sotheby's 2017 spring auction. Ming Xuanda blue and white fish and aquatic plants motif 10-lobed diamond rim large bowl. T200 million? Yang Guangshu was stunned. Is this really that bowl? How much? Fu Zifeng was also shocked. This bowl is worth that much. He wanted to pick it up and examine it, but was afraid of breaking it. Fu Zifeng could only bend over and look at it on the table. After looking for a long time, he still couldn't make head or tail of it. Brother Wu, you're amazing. A bowl worth several hundred million, and you actually use it to eat and serve soup? Wu Xingwu chuckled foolishly, not expecting that. He would have such an awesome day too. Zhang Qingyan was very envious of Yang Guangshu. If this bowl is real, then wouldn't this guy no longer need to guard the reservoir in the future? Brother Yang, I can't be sure about this bowl. I'll make a call and have an old friend of mine come take a look. Thanks, Brother Wu. If someone else said they couldn't tell, then it was probably fake 9 times out of 10. But this time Wu Xingwu really couldn't be sure, mainly because the value was too high. Hello, Brother Yu. I'm fishing here at Shangjin Reservoir. The owner has a good item, and I can't judge it. So I'd like to ask you to come and take a look. Eugene Wei was a little surprised to suddenly receive Wu Xingwu's call, because he and Wu Xingwu were only ordinary friends. And friends of friends, they had only gotten together a few times. Told you. What kind of good item is it? You even have to go in person? A friend said he's fishing at a reservoir, and the owner has a good item he can't judge. Brother Ma, Brother Chun, you've just come a long way from the capital today, so how about you get some rest? I'll go take a look for him. After all, we're in the same city, and the circle is only so big. If I don't show him some respect, it'll be hard to get along in the future. Since it's a good item, then I, Ma Sani, want to go take a look too. There are fewer and fewer good things on the market these days. Ma Sani sighed with emotion. Brother you, I'll go with you as well to broaden my horizons. I rested all the way on the plane, and I'm full of energy. As the young master of the Chun family's antique business in the capital, Chen Sheng also wanted to pick up a few collectibles in Jiangnan province to take back and anchor the shop. These days, there are more and more rich people, and even more who play with antiques. Every boss buys a few pieces. These things aren't modern assembly line products. Once one is sold, there's one less. Where are there so many fine antiques for sale? Since you two aren't tired, then let's go take a look together. 3 Alfreds drove toward the Shangjin Reservoir farmstay. Xiaoping Brigade. Han Sen arrived at the brigade, and there was only a group of children playing there. He didn't even see the militiamen who usually patrolled. They were probably all out working. When the children saw a bicycle parked in the yard, they all stared at it from afar out of curiosity, not daring to come close. Since there were no adults, he'd start by asking the children. Han Sen wanted to find an older child, but after scanning around several times, he didn't see any. Strange, where had all the older little brats run off to? Then he slapped his own head again. Was he stupid? Quite a lot of kids around 10 years old would go to work too. Children could also earn work points. A normal man got 10 points, while the elderly and women got 6 to 8 work points, and children herding cattle, cutting grass, catching insects, could also earn about 3 work points a day. With no older kids around, he could only look for little runny-nosed brats. Kids, come over and have some candy. At first, everyone was a little scared, but when they heard there was candy, they all crowded around. One for each person. There were a dozen or 20 children, and just like that, 20 cents was gone. Han Sen felt a sharp pang of regret. This was supposed to be for his little sister. Kids, Uncle wants to ask you a question. Your production team is really impressive. You even have water lifting buckets. Do you know who made them?